Ingon sa akong lola na ang ubang lalaki lahi na. Bisan nun sa kagwapo, talitan ka manguwag na. Ambot nga nung gingon aning, wag na lay klaro pirmi. Karon na imutan na, di pumater nga pang showtime ga.
Siopao, one more. 9 stories, 9 lives, 9 buns. 9th time you become. Story 1, the first steam. Life for hunger. Kiko buried his Lola on a Tuesday. The priest said ashes to ashes. But the ground at Manila North was mud. It rained the whole time. It rained after. It rained inside his chest. 3 days later, his Tian still hadn't gotten the memo that grief isn't edible. Rice was paper. Water was air. Even happy roach gravy tasted like something someone described to a person who'd never had a tongue. He was walking home from Trabaho Market at the hour when the last vendors pack up and the first strays come out to negotiate with God. That's when the smell found him. It wasn't food. It was memory with heat. It smelled like mornings before school, when Lola would wake him by lifting the cloth off a bilao. It smelled like being small and owned and safe. It smelled like a promise. You don't have to be hollow. He turned before he decided to turn. The alley was between Aling Nina's Sari Sari and the Lotto outlet. He'd walked this street 2,000 times. The buildings had always been kissing. Now they'd taken a step back to let something through. Too narrow. The walls were damp, even though it hadn't rained in hours. At the end, a light that didn't flicker. Under it, a kari ton, not the usual stainless steel, with mooning bow stickers. This was wood, old wood, the kind that remembers being a tree. 3 bamboo steamers sat stacked, exhaling. The vendor behind it wasn't old, wasn't young. Kiko tried to look at his face, and his eyes kept sliding off, like the man was made of soap. He wore a barong. No, an apron. No, nothing Kiko could name. Gutom Ka, the vendor said. Not a question, a diagnosis. Kiko's mouth opened. Isa. He didn't remember choosing the word. The vendor moved like time, was thick around his wrists. 2 fingers lifted the lid. Steam didn't escape. It descended, pooling at Kiko's ankles, warm and heavy. Inside was 1 bun. It was perfect. Too perfect. The surface was flour smooth, untouched by any thumb. But under it, faint lines shifted. Not veins. Roads. Like something in there was remembering how to get somewhere. Kiko took it. It was body warm. Not fresh off the steamer hot. Body warm. Like it had been pressed to a chest. He bit. The market tore like wet paper. He was barefoot. Grass to his chest, but it wasn't grass. It was hair or thread, or the stuff they make rosaries from. The sky was a bruise that had decided to be pretty. Things moved in the grass. Cats with eyes like his Tita when she lied. Children with whiskers all of them circling a caldero, bigger than the barangay hall. Steam from it held the clouds up. One of them turned. It had Lola's smile, but not her teeth. Anak, it said, and the word was warm and wrong. Siopao. They all said it. Siopao. Siopao. Not demanding, inviting, like a hand reaching out in the dark. Kiko choked on air and was back. Alley, cart, his hands were empty. No crumbs, no oil on his fingers, no bun, just gone, like it had been a lie he told himself, and then believed. His stomach was quiet, the first time in 3 days. The vendor was closing the steamer. How much? Kiko asked. The question felt stupid and necessary. The vendor tilted his head. Bayad na. Nang ano. The light above them considered buzzing, then changed its mind. Kiko walked home. He looked back once. There was no alley, just a wall. Bawal amihidito in red paint. A cat sat under it. Orange. It blinked at him, slow, like it was counting. That night, he dreamed of the field. He woke up and wasn't hungry. He was something else. Lives left, 8. Story 2, the second lid. Life for curiosity. He went back to prove it wasn't real. That's what he told himself. People don't hallucinate the same place twice. Grief does weird things. Low blood sugar does weirder things. He'd eaten that morning. Actual rice. Actual tuyo. It tasted like salt and regret, but it stayed down. The alley disagreed. It appeared at noon, when the sun made the asphalt soft enough to take fingerprints. He was buying load from Aling Nina. PDLT, 50 pesos, regular load. When the smell threaded through the heat. Not hot, warm, the difference between a stove and a hug. He turned. The alley was between the bakery and the lotto outlet. Again, like it had picked a favorite spot. The cart, the steamers, the vendor whose face was a polite suggestion. You again, Kiko said. He tried to sound like he was accusing someone. You, the vendor agreed. Like Kiko, was a recurring dream he was also having. Anang Mayran sa luwab. Kiko pointed. His hand was shaking. Why can't I remember your face? What was in that bun? The vendor looked at him for a long time. Or no time. Time got embarrassed and looked away. Then he lifted a lid. This bun was different. The dough was thin. You could see through it, like a communion wafer. Inside, something was curled. It had a spine. It had eyelashes. It had a cowlick. Right there. The same one Kiko's Lola used to pat down with water and spit, and Tumigil Kajan. Kiko's legs considered retirement. Everything must become something else, the vendor said. His voice was the sound wood makes when a house settles at 3 a.m. That's A. Kiko couldn't say baby, couldn't say me, couldn't say us. Isa, the vendor said. Not a question, not an offer, a next line in a script. Kiko's hand moved. He was screaming inside his head. His teeth weren't listening. He bit. This time the vision was a kitchen. No walls, no ceiling, just a floor that gave under his feet like dough. 100 steamers in rows. Things were climbing into them, not being thrown, climbing. A cat with 6 eyes, a boy with Kiko's old shirt, a woman who was almost his mother when she was 20 and still hopeful. They looked at him as they lowered themselves in, not scared, late for something. He was back on the sidewalk, on his knees. The alley was gone. His phone was blowing up. 17 missed calls. Tita, 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 Tita. Kiko, you were supposed to be here for the 40 days. He got home. He couldn't remember what 40 days meant. He knew it was important, like a test he hadn't studied for. He opened his gallery. He'd taken a picture of Lola's lapida to remember the dates, to remember her middle name. The picture was flowers, just flowers, no stone, no name. He typed her name into Google. Rosario L. L what? His chest was a steamer with no lid. Lives left, 7. Story 3, the third bite. Life for company. June would split his last Siopao with you. That was June's whole personality. If you were Gutom, June was Gutom. If you were sad, June would make a joke so bad it reset your brain. So when the alley showed up outside gate 2 of Kiko's school, Kiko thought, witness. If June sees it, it's real. If June eats it, I'm not crazy. If June lives, I'm not cursed. Bro, June stopped walking. Amoy mobayan. The air smelled like June's 8th birthday. Happy roach. Spaghetti. His mama letting him have an extra peach mango pie because his Lolo died that week. And the boy deserves sweet. The alley was between the waiting shed and the Xerox place. They'd always been neighbors. Now they were giving each other space. Mari nagti tinda, Kiko said. His tongue was dry. Siopao, Trimo, Masarep. The cart was there. One steamer, just one. The vendor looked at both of them and didn't look at both of them. Free taste. June grinned. He had a chipped tooth from grade 6. Kiko could see it. He could count it. The vendor opened the lid. 2 buns. June took one. Salamat po. He was always polite to vendors. Kiko took the other. His hand moved before his brain could file a complaint. June bit. His eyes went wide. Not scared. Remembering. Bro, I see my. He chewed. Swallowed. The wide eyes went soft. I. Ang sarap. Parang, he frowned. Wait. Saan. The bell rang. 1 p.m. First afternoon class. Kids pushed past them, yelling about ML and crushes and Sarwala Pong assignment. June wasn't there. walked away, not teleported, not like someone edited him out with a bad app, and left the background messy. Kiko stood there holding air that used to be his best friend. He ran to the faculty room. Sir, si Jun Santos. Kakla Seiko. Section Mabini. Kani Na Leng. Sir Reyes checked the class list. Printed. Laminated. Wala Teang Jun Santos. Kiko. Anang Wala. Katabi Ko Sa Upuan. Sir Reyes looked at the empty desk. That's always been empty, Kiko. You okay? You look mapitla. Kiko opened Messenger. He typed June. The chat was there. Last message, Kiko bro. No reply. June's profile picture was the gray default head. No posts. No mutuals. He went to the barangay. June Santos. Taga Canto Tres. Tanad Wala Anek. He went home and threw up. Nothing came out. His stomach was fine. His stomach was great. He didn't dream that night. He didn't have to. He was awake inside the dream now. Lives left, 6. Story 4, the 4th steam. Life for anger. Kiko tried to starve the alley out. Day 1, water. His piss was clear, and his head was not. Day 2, black coffee. His hands shook. The itch started. Not skin, bone, like something was using his ribs as a keyboard. Day 3, he licked salt. It tasted like the ocean explaining divorce. On night 4, he hunted it. He found it behind the simbahan, where there was supposed to be a wall covered in lost dog posters and novena to Saint Jude tarps. The wall was there. It was also not there. It was soft. He pushed. It gave, like dough left to rise. The alley was wider. It had to be to hold his anger. The cart, 2 steamers. The vendor, Ana Jinawa Mokaijun. Kiko screamed. The sound came back wrong, like the alley was a bad microphone. Ana Jinawa Bosa Akin. I answered, the vendor said. He wasn't smug. He wasn't sorry. He was a fact. Balik Mosha. Balik Molahat. Kiko couldn't remember what Lahat included. That made him angrier. His grief had amnesia. He grabbed a bun to throw, to prove he could reject it. It pulsed. Once, the heat went up his arm, into his shoulder, into the angry part of his brain, and turned the dial down. Not off, down, from 10 to 3. Manageable, numb. He bit. June was in the field, sitting cross-legged, whole, holding a kitten that had Kiko's eyes. June looked up and waved. Okay lang bro, he said. Walang gutam dito. Walang quiz. Walang tita na sumisigaw. June, I'm sorry. Siopao, June said. He smiled. It was his real smile. The one with the chipped tooth. Masarap too. Kiko was back. On his knees. The alley was still there. That was new. It usually left after. He was crying. He didn't know for who. He tried to sing his Nana's lullaby, the one she sang when he had fever. He had the tune. The words were gone, not forgotten, removed, like someone took the lyrics out of his head and left the melody to haunt an empty house. Lives left 5. Story 5, the fifth offering. Life for bargaining. The kitten was orange, padyak, ribs like a xylophone. Kiko found it behind Happy Roach, digging in a box that used to have Chicken Vanguard. It didn't run when he reached for it. It looked up at him with eyes that said, "I know how this story goes." He named it Siopao. That was cruel, and he knew it. He brought it to the alley. The alley was behind his apartment now. Convenient, like it was tired of commuting. "Trade," Kiko said. He held Siopao out. Siopao didn't squirm. "Take this. Give June back. Give my memory back. Give me back." The vendor took the kitten. His hands were the most real thing about him. Calloused, careful, he held Siopao like you hold a thing that chose you. Siopao closed his eyes, not asleep, not scared, ready. The vendor set him in an empty steamer. The basket was big enough for a man. He closed the lid. No fire, no stove, no butane. Steam rose anyway. It smelled like rain on hot cement and Lola's Sampigita, and the inside of a church after a funeral. "Life doesn't trade," the vendor said. "It transfers." He opened another steamer. Kiko ate. He told his hands not to. His hands said, "We don't work for you anymore." That night, he walked home. 3 strays followed. 1 black, 1 calico, 1 white with a black dot like a bindie. They stopped at his door, sat in a row, bowed like he was a Santo being paraded. He dreamed he was Siopao. He was put in the warm dark. He felt his bones get soft, his name get sweet. It didn't hurt. That was the problem. It should have. He woke up, and the strays were still there. They left one by one when he opened the door. The last one, the white one, looked back. Its eyes were June's. Lives left 4. Story 6, the sixth hunger. Life for memory. The forest had rules now. Stay on the path. The path is made of exhaled names. If you step off, you'll say someone else's name forever. The trees are listening. They are your external hard drive. They remember the things you traded. The steamer at the center is not cooking. It's deciding. Kiko walked it every night. He wasn't asleep. He wasn't awake. He was in transit. The creatures had titles now. Cat with 6 eyes. Malapit na, it said. It was the timekeeper. Rabbit with human teeth. Remember to forget, it said. It was the editor. Child made of shadow holding a broken bowl. Siopao, it said. It was the waiter. The steamer at the center was a Bahe Kubo. If a Bahe Kubo was a lung, it breathed. The lid lifted when he got close, like a dog who knows its name. Inside Buns, Rose, military straight, June left side, third row, chest up, down, sleeping, peaceful, the chipped tooth visible. Siopao, front row, purring, you could hear it through the dough. A woman who was his nanny at 22, before Kiko, before the man who left, before the world got tired. She was humming the lullaby. Kiko almost had the words. Not until he remembers. They all whispered. The buns, the trees, the steam. What? Kiko asked. A bun near the back shifted. It had Lola's mole. What you asked for. He woke up. His arms were the color of rice that's been washed 5 times. He pinched his skin. It dimpled, stayed dimpled. 3 seconds. Like mochi, like Siopao dough. He scratched his forearm. Something moved under the skin, away from his nail. A polite retreat. He didn't go to the alley that day. It came to his room. The cart was at the foot of his bed, on the tiles, next to his laundry. The vendor's face was almost stable. It was almost Lola. The eyes were almost June. The mouth was almost his. Kiko didn't say anything. There was nothing to say that wasn't already in the steam. He ate. Lives left 3. Story 7, the 7th road. Life for denial. He ran. Bus to Pangasinan. 5 hours. He didn't look out the window. He didn't want to see any Alice making friends with buildings. He stayed with his cousin, Kuya Ben. You look like a tikbalang's leftovers, Kuya Ben said. Eat. Kiko cooked his own food. He counted rice grains. 1, 2, 3, 4. He got to 1,847 and gave up. He was thin. Then he was thinner. Then he was a rumor of a person. His collarbones could cut air. 2 months. No dreams. No cats. No smell. He thought he won. He was in a town called San something. He forgot the rest. He was walking past a Palayan at 6 p.m. The sky was the color of a bruise that was done being a bruise. Between 2 mango trees that had been there since the Spanish were confused and sweating. A tricycle, not a carreton. A tricycle with a sidecar. On the sidecar, bamboo steamers. 3 of them. The vendor wore a raincoat, or feathers, or nothing. The raincoat was raining, even though the sky wasn't. You asked to be full, he said. Same voice, same fact. I take it back. Kiko screamed. He was good at screaming now. Practice. Ayoko na. I don't want. The vendor opened a steamer. Kiko ate. He tried to run. His legs said, we work for the vendor now. He was a cat. By Nando, 1945. February. The Americans were coming. The Japanese were not leaving. The world was fire and noise. He was orange then, ribs like now. He hid under a Mu Ning bow cart. The wood smelled 1,000 lunches. A boy kicked him. Ali's Meow. He starved 3 days. On the 4th, a bomb hit wrong. A steamer fell, cracked open. He crawled inside. It was warm. It was quiet. The bombs were outside. He slept. He didn't wake up as a cat. He woke up on the ground in something. The tricycle was gone. The trees were trees. A Carabao looked at him with ancient judgment. He understood. He had been here before. Not Kiko. Before Kiko, he got on the next bus to Manila. Lives left 2. Story 8. The 8th lid. Life for surrender. The alley didn't pretend to be an alley anymore. It was a kitchen. No walls. No ceiling. No health permit. The floor was dough. It gave under his bare feet. Left footprints that slowly rose back up like memory foam. The sky was steam. Not cloudy. Steam. The kind that comes out of your mouth when you're alive and cold. The great steamer was at the center. Not a pot. A building. Bamboo and brass and breath. Big enough to hold a barangay. It wasn't on a stove. It was the stove. The heat came from underneath, from the earth, from somewhere deeper than geology. The vendor wasn't one. He was a crowd holding one shape. An old man in a cook's hat, flour on his elbows. A child with a burn scar in the shape of a cat's paw. A cat licking its paw, then looking at Kiko like you're late. A woman with Kiko's eyes and Lola's hands. They spoke in one voice. It harmonized with itself, like a choir that had been rehearsing since the first hunger. Hunger is older than right, they said. Kiko walked to the steamer. No one pushed him. No one had to. His feet were his. His feet were also not his. They were going home. Inside the Buns. Hundreds, maybe thousands. A census of the eaten. June left 3rd row. Still chipped tooth. Still breathing. Siopao front. Still purring. The dough vibrated. Lola back, humming the lullaby. Kiko almost had it. The words were in the steam. His taw-tie. He was there. Kiko hadn't seen him since he was 6. He looked younger. Sorry. A bun that was him at 7. When he fell off a bike, and Lola put betadine and a kiss on it. A bun that was him at 16. When he first got drunk and cried about his nanny. He reached for June. His hand passed through the bun. Like mist, like permission. He looked at his arms. He could see the dough floor through them. He was a suggestion of a boy. The scratching was words now. From his marrow. From his marrow. It said, become, 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 become. He understood the math. You eat 8 times. You're given 8 lives. Not yours. Borrowed. From the steamer. From the last person who became. On the 9th, you pay it back. You become the meal. Then someone else gets 8. The steamer stays full. The world stays fed. The hunger doesn't win. preferences? Do I get to choose?" he asked. His voice was already steamy. The vendors / all of them smiled. "You chose 8 times." Kiko laughed. It sounded like a bamboo lid lifting after 20 minutes. "Siopao," he said. "Lives left, 1. Story 9, the 9th steamer. Life for becoming." He didn't fight. Not because he was brave. Because he was done. Done being hungry. Done being guilty. Done being a question. The vendor's hands were gentle. Not the hands of a monster. The hands of a helot, finding the pili in your soul. The hands of a mother, folding a baby into a blanket. The hands of a gravedigger who's sorry, but still has a job. They laid him down in a steamer. The basket was lined with banana leaf. It smelled like fiesta. It smelled like funeral. It smelled like every April 12th of his life. The dough came. It wasn't poured. It arrived. From the air. From the steam. From the other buns, maybe. It was warm. Not hot. Known. It learned the shape of him. It didn't force him. It agreed with him. The hollows in his chest became curves. The sharp parts of his grief became soft. The heat wasn't fire. It was attention. Complete, unbearable, loving attention. The kind you get for 3 seconds when someone really sees you. This was for forever. You were never only meant to eat, the vendor whispered. One voice, Lola's voice, not sad Lola, end of novena Lola. When the prayers are done and the pancit is on the table. Kiko's last thought wasn't June, wasn't Siopao, wasn't the cat he was in 1945. It was, so this is what full feels like. Not heavy, not stuffed, just complete, like the last note of a song. The lid closed. It didn't lock. It didn't need to. Epilogue, the 10th hunger. The market opened. Fishball vendors, Manong, Tatlo, Sao Sao Wan, Trikes Tun Surya, Tundo Divi Surya, Tita with a Bayang, Dios Ko, Angmahel Nong Sibuyas. The world was loud, alive, forgetful. No alley, no cart, no vendor. A cat sat by the gutter. Orange, white cowlick on its chest. It was cleaning its face. Methodical, like it had all the time in the world, which it did. A boy in a public school uniform stopped walking. Grade 7, maybe. Bag bigger than him. He frowned, tilted his head like he was listening to a radio. Only he could hear. "What's that smell?" He said to no one. "Parang, parang pancit, nang nanai ko. Pero patay na siya last year." The cat stood, stretched, front paws, back paws, tail like a question mark. It walked toward the space between the bakery and the lotto outlet. The space wasn't there. Then it was. A wooden cart resolved out of heat and grief. 3 steamers. Steam like a secret someone's been keeping since the first person got hungry. The vendor was already there. His face was new. It was also all the old faces. It didn't matter. Faces are for people who are still deciding. The boy stepped into the alley. His shoes made no sound. Isa, he said, and somewhere beyond memory, beyond barangay records, beyond the places Lola told you not to go, a bamboo lid lifted, not to cook, but to continue. Lives left, 9.
Ingon sa akong lola na ang ubang lalaki lahi na. Bisan nun sa kagwapo, taditan ka manguwag na. Ambot nga nung gingon aning, wag na lay klaro firme. Karon na imutan na, di pumote nga pang showtime ra.